Hello and welcome to another episode of our Minecraft Let's Play, all SPICETY. So, as you can see, I've expanded our house just a little bit. This isn't going to be anything very permanent. And speaking of which, especially, I'd assume that you've seen the title of the episode. We're going to be making a starter house today. So this is probably going to end up being chopped down. You might have also noticed up here we've got ourselves a little bit of a tree farm going, so we can have some resources that we're going to be needing for our starter house. Also, one more thing you might have noticed, I actually have audio. You can hear my nasally, low-quality voice without the white noise in the background. So, like I mentioned earlier, our goal of this episode is going to be completing the starter house that we're going to be using, probably for a good portion of the series, I'd say. I also have done a little bit of off-camera in between episode mining, so we have a little bit more iron. But speaking of mining, one of the first things we're going to do for some of the blocks I'm going to need for this build is go down. I've already dug the hole here. Go down to close to bedrock and branch mine for diamonds and deep slate. Deep slate is a block that we're going to be needing for our build, so it's a good thing that we're going down there right now. With all that said, let's start the time lapse in 3, 2, 1. That was about an hour-long mining session, I'd approximate, and as you can see, we've gotten a decent amount of stuff, some diamonds, so we technically got 7 diamonds in total. I just added it on to that pickaxe. Honestly, I'm a little bit underwhelming, but given that we're using iron tools without any enchantments or anything, it kind of makes sense that we wouldn't be finding a ton of stuff, and really, we didn't even really go that far, all things considered. Probably because of our tools. And here we've also got all the deep slate we need for our build that I also got from that mining session. So that's honestly a little bit more than I expected us to get, so that's pretty good. Now if we come around over here, you can see this is the area I'm intending for our starter base to be. And you might notice this little thing over here. Whoops. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. But basically, we have, oh, it's getting dark out, so I'll have to be a little quick with this. But I have a mod installed called Litematica that basically allows us to do like 3D blueprints. So here, just before we start the actual time lapse of me building this and get all our materials moved over here, so here's the schematic. So I'll just load it in. And it should begin. Yeah, you can see it's not positioned where it needs to go, but there's an early look at it if you guess. So anyways then, let's get to it. And with that, we've finished our starter house. So I'm pretty happy with this thing, bearing in mind that I've had this design done in a test world for a couple of weeks now, so I'm pretty used to it, but I really like how it incorporates a lot of the environment we're here, so with like the snow and the roof and that kind of things, and it's definitely going for a little bit more of a subdued tone with our block palette. Unfortunately, I was hoping within that time lapse to get the soul sand that we needed for the soul lanterns, and unfortunately that did not. And if you look at the footage, that did not go very well. Honestly, that's probably one of the most pathetic deaths I've ever had. But moving on, you can see we don't have an interior for this thing yet. We've got like a floor outline, but I don't have that planned, so I think we're probably just gonna freehand that. You might notice I have shaders on right now. I should have had shaders on in the time lapse. I don't plan on using these very much because I kind of like for viewers to be able to kind of see what this normally looks like, but I think us doing a build does kind of justify that. But let me just turn these off real quick so we can get more into the nitty-gritty of stuff. Before we do anything better, I really think we do need to get some actual equipment, because right now we're basically just running in some pretty crummy iron armor. And even just doing a project with this, not to say this is small, but getting the resources for this, I was breaking a lot of tools, and it wasn't very fun. So in here, in this chest, you can see I've done some mining between the end of that time lapse and now, and we've got 17 diamonds, which is pretty good, a decent amount of iron. Real quick, I should probably sleep real quick. But anyways, we're going to need, like I was saying, we're going to need some upgrades for our tools. So I have some diamonds here, but I think the main use we're going to have for these is actually as an enchanting table. I don't think I have some obsidian over at the old base, which I've mostly moved over, but we still got to take that down. So let's go over there and do that now. Yeah, so over here we've got a portal that I took down earlier with some obsidian. But I did realize in here we've actually got some valuables, so I will definitely be grabbing all of these. So back over at the starter base now. In the meantime, while we were doing that time lapse, I was slowly growing some sugar cane over there. You can see it. And so we've got a decent amount, so we'll have a decent supply of paper for an enchanting setup. But I've also had a cow farm, which you probably have already seen just right in front of me, actually. So yeah, we've already got a book. So all we have to do is actually craft the enchanting table. And I think once we get enough leather, we should probably have more than enough paper for our bookshelves. But for now, what I really want is to get ourselves a decent supply of diamonds. So the enchantments I'm actually looking for right now are probably Silk Touch and Fortune 3. That'll give us a lot more diamonds per more block in general. And really, I'm just trying to get through a lot of this kind of early game grind, definitely on the faster side. I don't want to have like full netherite very soon necessarily, but getting some stuff that's usable that'll last us for a while is definitely on my priorities right now, especially before we start doing any more building after this, because I cannot emphasize how much of a pain this was to do with iron tools. I have been spoiled in another survival world I've been working on for a couple years just on my own, having full netherite enchanted gear, and whew, iron just does not compare. So anyhow, with that set up, now we've actually got to, start grinding bookcases, because right now we don't really have anything exactly, only efficiency 1 and efficiency 2. We don't have anything really worth it at this point. So what I think we're going to do is go ahead and continue farming some of these cows, and also in the meantime, while I'm waiting for their breeding cooldown to end, I think I'm also going to be working on extending this dock, which I also had planned out. That was just something that wasn't really essential to the build. So basically we're going to have a dock that's going to extend out through some of these icebergs. It's actually going to turn right here, but we're going to have to dig through some of these icebergs, but it'll head out to the more open sea, and that's where we're actually going to have our ship, assuming probably a ship up here for whoever lives here to come back and forth. So I've been getting ourselves some bookshelves. So I've been grinding, I've been giving wheat a chance to grow, and then feeding the cows and trying to get as much leather as possible because paper isn't really an issue. But after getting probably about halfway, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe the villagers would probably be a better issue, because even just looking at the enchantments we've gotten right now, none of these are worth it for what I'm looking for. So I think the best decision might just be to find a village, and for the rest of this episode, maybe just get some villagers here. This isn't exactly what I wanted to do this episode, but I don't really think we're going to be finishing the interior for this today. I just don't have time right now, if we're going to be spending time with the villagers. So here we are, running up on it now. It's not huge, but there's villagers here, that's what we want. There's some interesting mountain terrain over here too as well, but staying focused. Let's see, is there anybody in here? No, it doesn't look like it. Is he on top of his roof, I think? Oh, yeah, there he is. Hello. Sir. Oh, maybe we don't want to take somebody who's obviously a little bit slow, if you know what I mean. But it looks like he does have a profession. Oh, whoops. No. Hello. No, never mind. I'm taking you because you're funny, so get in the boat. Get in the boat. And with that, we've got our two villagers over there. Can't see them right now because don't want them to die, so they're in their little protective boxes. But you should be able to hear them. So with that, I don't think we're going to do anything with these guys just yet in this episode. I think the focus for the rest of the episode is going to be kind of furnishing. Here, I'll get up here, let me show you. Furnishing kind of this under area and some of the other spots of the house we just built. So unfortunately, we still can't add the soul lanterns, which is really disappointing to me because they would have added a lot to the dock. Did I show you guys the dock? I don't think I did. So it's a pretty simple design, but once in combination with the lights, it works really good, especially with the shaders on and everything. But it goes out a decent bit. There's more open water over there. We might extend it. I don't know. We'll see. I think we can fit a ship in there at a later date. But anyhow, so I want to do a little bit of furnishing. I don't think we're going to do the interior this episode, but we're going to do a little bit of furnishing and probably I think a wood pile over here, which is why that was part of the plan, was that this is like an overhang so you don't have the snow falling on your wood and making it wet. And I don't know, maybe we'll do a couple things rough on the interior, like maybe add a fireplace, but we'll see. I also plan that we're gonna add, instead of having grass here, we're gonna have snow, because full snow blocks, because torches, as you can see, melt just snow layers. So I can't think of any other areas where we might want to add anything else, because that's really the only area that feels unfinished to me outside of the interior, obviously. I mean, we could maybe add something here, but yeah. So I'll cut to that when that is done. So yeah, let's get to it. And with that flopping fish in the distance, I did actually finish the surroundings up there. But first, I just wanted to show you guys kind of what we have going on over here with the dock. So it just goes out over here. There's a bit of a clearer space, you can tell. But the main thing I wanted to point out was I added these pillars under here. There's more off there, but I couldn't finish it all because that was all the deep slate I had. But I think it looks pretty decent, all things considered. But yeah, I also had to carve out through this iceberg, you can tell. But anyways, focusing on to what I actually intended to show you, let's just get up here. Focusing on what I actually intended to show you up here, got this little area done with the log pile. So it's underneath here, so it doesn't get any, it doesn't get wet, so it wouldn't be flammable. And then I just added a little bit of like texturing with like the mud under here, and the more slushy snow is what I intend that diorite to depict. But yeah, I think this looks pretty decent. The only thing I just want to prefix is these torches will not be here in the long run. We just don't, like I said, like I've been mentioning a couple times, we don't have any soul lanterns, which is what I intended to use. And that goes for this lantern as well. This is going to be changed to a soul lantern, but I still think it looks pretty decent even with the torches. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Anyways, over here, I also did just a little bit over here, just the texture. I didn't really add anything, just to make it look, you know, like this has been walked through a little bit. Now, before I end the episode, I just want to mention, I do intend to have some amount of a story for this series. Not really something that is going to be in the forefront, at least for now, but just to keep in mind that I do have a purpose for this, I guess, narratively in the future of this world. But that's all I want to say about that for now. So, anyways, while it gets dark here, hopefully any mobs don't come up here and hurt me. I just wanted to do the outro real quick. Thank you for watching. I'm honestly shocked you would come to the end, because I'm going to be honest, this is going to be literally the second video I've ever edited, so it's not going to be the greatest. Oh, zombie. Anyways, yeah, we're very unprofessional around here. Anyways, like I said, thanks for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.